Okay, so for today's video, I do want to talk about, it is just going to be a sit down and talk with me kind of video. But pretty much, I just want to talk about some things that you take for granted in high school. I was in high school about, oh my gosh, it was like 2 years ago. Oh my god, it feels like just yesterday I was in high school. But anyways, yeah, I was in high school 2 years ago. And I think now that I'm in college, sometimes I miss some things. I mean, in general, I don't really like mind high school. It was like a whatever experience. Overall, it's like, I wouldn't go back if I could. But regardless, apart from that, there are a lot of things that I took for granted in high school that I thought like, oh, like it'll be the same in college, or like, oh, like I'll have it in college. But it's not. It's pretty different. Let's get started. Okay, so first and foremost, it's crazy how easy it is to make friends. Even if you're an introvert, even if you're like in between, like maybe you're super awkward, but like it's so easy to make friends in high school because first of all, everyone pretty much knows each other. Like everyone knows who everyone is. Second of all, like if you get in a fight with like your friends, your main group friends or whatever, it's easy to talk to someone that you already talked to in class and be like, hey, like is it cool if like we hang out for lunch or something? It's so easy. Like it's generally, and like in high school I went through a phase where I didn't have any friends, and like that was super hard, but like it was hard because I made it hard. Apart from not having friends, I would hang out in the band room because I was in band. I was in the marching band. But apart from that, like, it was just so easy to talk to other people. And, like, people are genuinely not mean. Like, I mean, there were a couple of mean girls, but, like, not really. Not in my high school anyways. The mean girls were never seniors, is what I could say. When I was a senior, like, there was no mean senior. There were a couple, like, people who were disliked for, like, certain things that they did to them. Or maybe it was, like, back when they were freshmen, like, some drama happened. But, like, overall, none of that really matters. And it's crazy because, like, you emphasize so much on like stuff that will never matter in the future, but in high school it's like ingrained into you. So it's like you want to wear makeup every day, or like someone who wears makeup every day is like trashed on by like other girls who don't do it. And then there's like people who are like maybe super smart, they're like hated on by like, not hated on, but like they're just disliked because maybe they're like cocky. But it's not that they're cocky, that's just who they are. They're smart. They correct you when you say something incorrect, and it's just like it's so easy to actually make friends in high school. It's generally easy. I didn't realize this until like my senior year, where like everyone like knew me and they were like saying like hi to me, like randomly saying like, oh hi, like how are you? And then like towards graduation, it was just, everything was just so much fun my senior year. But I don't know, overall it's like it's easy. It's super easy to make friends. And don't get awkward and don't get comfortable with like one clique of friends, especially if you think like they're not your vibe, because sometimes like that one group of friends that you mainly hang out with, maybe they're like toxic, you know? It's nothing bad. Like everyone experiences that at some point in their life. Like they have to drop friends that they really didn't want to because it's like their only main group of friends. But just don't be scared to make other friends. Like have other friends, and maybe even have like one best friend that you could genuinely trust and actually talk to about things that matter. Okay, now, so another thing that I took for granted in high school was the workload. I remember like sometimes in like the middle of the semester, I'd be like super tired of doing the work, so I just wouldn't turn in a few assignments, brought my grade down obviously. But honestly, I think there's in total, I think for like a whole semester of high school, the workload is like so much more less than it is for one class, like one semester, one class in college. And it's just crazy because I wish they sort of gave us more work. I mean, some of my classes definitely challenged me back in high school, but I wish like in general they would give me more work in high school so that I would have been prepared for college. Because the transition from my high school to college, and I'm at a community college right now, so it's like, though, like, the transition from high school to college, so crazy, intense. Like, I went from doing, like, 3 assignments a day, every day in high school, to doing, like, I'm taking 4 classes, I have to do like 12 assignments on a daily basis and turn them in by the end of the week. It's super crazy because, I mean, the point of high school is that it should be preparing you for college. And don't get me wrong, I bet you like those valedictorians that graduated high school like were super prepared, or maybe they weren't, I don't know. Were super prepared for college or university or whatever they're doing, right? But regardless, I feel like for the average high schooler, they're probably not prepared for college. So the transition into that is like super rough, and it's super hard to adjust because you go from like doing the bare minimum to doing like the max 24/7, and it's just like so intense. So I definitely took that for granted in high school. If I could go back, I would probably do like 100% of the assignments, all the assignments that I missed. Yeah, I definitely messed up on that, but it's fine. Thirdly, I'm pretty sure we're on 3. I think it's crazy how easy it is to be a student athlete in high school. I knew so many people who were like doing sports, who were in like drama class, who were in band, who were like in like all honors classes and had like 2 APs. Like they had a loaded schedule, but they did it and it was doable. I mean, it was hard, but it was doable. And I think it's crazy how many people take that for granted, because trying to be a student athlete in college, it feels like you have no time for that. And I'm not a student athlete. I never tried to be a student athlete in college because I just knew how hard it would be. So, I mean, all 4 years I played some kind of sport. My senior year, my junior year, I think I learned how to play an instrument, and then my senior year I was in the marching band. Yeah, that's how it went. And yeah, all 4 years I was a student athlete, and I mean, my first 2 years were roughy, but like roughy, is that even a word? My first 2 years were super rough, but because I was transitioning from middle school to high school, pretty much it's just so much easier to like keep up with your classes and like keep up with like sports, because you just have, it's not that you have the time for it, you might not, you might have a job or something, but it's just a lot easier because of the workload that like the homework assigned in high school is a lot less than it would be in college. Also, in college, pretty sure just like your celebration, you have to have like the big faculty and work, and then like from that, you grade like classes and take also interviews, so like I know some people like professionals in college, like more for the time, and that's cool, like different that are in the for that, but things like for people who don't actually need to go pro or something, they have to focus on their classes as well. And but yeah, moving on. It's becoming kind of warm in my room, so I put my hair up really quickly. Anyways, so I think we're on number 4 now. Okay, so for number 4, I do want to talk about how easy it is to get help in high school. I know so many teachers who stayed after class or after school hours and stay there for 30 minutes or an hour, even though their commute back home would be longer because of traffic. There was just so many teachers and tutors who would sacrifice their time to help students understand the subject that they went over or something they don't get. I remember my high school also had like a tutor program, had a personal tutor, like one-on-one time. It was just super easy to like grab some help from your teacher or the tutor that your school has, and it was just, yeah. Also, textbooks were literally given to you in high school. Like they said, this is borrowed, use it for the semester, and then like return it, otherwise you can't graduate. Like there's a penalty, obviously, and that's because like textbooks are expensive, and you'll figure that out once you go to college. And it's so crazy, and it's mind-boggling like how much a hardcover textbook costs. Pretty much everyone that I know in college buys like the ebook version, because that's like, I could say like literally $100 less. Like, you can buy it, it's just I wouldn't recommend it, because once you're done with that class you're not going to use it again, so there's no point in buying textbooks. So moving on to number 5, it's crazy how many I'm not gonna be able to say this. Extracurricular activities. It's crazy how many extracurricular activities you can take in high school and like still have time to do your homework and like be a sportist and do some sports. I knew so many people who were like a part of like leadership. They were in like 2 different sports. When you transition to college, obviously you could be a part of like student council. You'll have to get voted in and stuff. You could do like you could be a part of like so many clubs. There's so many clubs and groups in college, but like you no longer have time for that because you're now like transitioning into adulthood, that you need to have like a part-time job or a full-time job, depending, like, you know, if you're living or not living with your family. Maybe like your circumstances are harder or something like that. It's just, it becomes a lot harder. You have to start becoming like self-reliant and independent. So it's just, there's not really time to join any more clubs. Okay, so now number 6 on the list is teachers. I feel so bad for the teachers who put up with so many horrible students in high school. I mean, in my classes, I remember there were so many, like, and each year, each semester that I had a teacher, there was just one kid or maybe a group of kids who were so rude. It's just crazy how rude these kids can be to teachers, you know? Like, teachers, literally all they're trying to do is do their job and do it correctly and do it as best they can. They're trying to educate the future of, like, our country, like people who are going to be like governors and like business people and lawyers and doctors. Like, they're trying to educate you to get there. We're going to be adults whether you want to or not. And it's just crazy how much people disrespected teachers. Like, in all my classes, there was at least that one like disruptive person who like had to cause a scene every time or something like that. And it's just, I find it like mind-boggling that they have the audacity to act like that towards a teacher. When I was in high school, I had the utmost respect for teachers. Sometimes I'd fuck around with them. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'd like make a funny joke or stuff like that. Like, they were like cool. Teachers are friends, literally. But like, they want the best for you. They're almost like a friend / parent because they just want to educate you. They just want you to like value your education. And for some people, they just don't understand that. They won't understand it until they do. But yeah, it was just crazy how many people were rude to like teachers. And like, I get sometimes like students have a hormonal imbalance and like they're on their period, or I don't know, the guys are like barely going through puberty or something like that. I do know some teachers like that genuinely didn't like certain students, and so they had to like, they handle it like an adult. They go to the principal or they go to the dean or whatever, and they'll tell them like, hey, like, this student has been causing me a lot of trouble. I don't want them in my class like ever again. And they'll put that on like his record or something, and they'll be like, don't assign to like this teacher. I found it super crazy back when I was like a sophomore and a junior. I found it super crazy how immature some of these seniors were. Like, they were supposed to be graduating next year and they were so immature. And I was like, I mean, I'm not trying to look down on them or anything. There was always a group of people who just weren't good people. They were just rude people, had bad attitudes, didn't like have patience for anyone or anything. I know it sucks, but like, it is what it is. I mean, you can't really help them. They'll help themselves if they want to be helped, or they'll ask for help if they want to be helped. High schoolers definitely took teachers for granted. So don't take your teacher for granted. Okay, so next on the list is not studying for a test. Oh my goodness. This took me a couple tries to learn, but in college, I realized I have to study. In high school, you literally do not have to study. I mean, depending on like the kind of learner you are and like how your teacher teaches you, it depends obviously. But like in all my classes, when a teacher teaches, like, I understand that. I take notes. I review the notes maybe like once after that. I do the homework, and like that's it. When the test comes around, I don't feel like I have to study for it, and I never did really study for a test. I just felt like the teachers, like the way they explained stuff really like retained in my head, and it was easy for me just to recall those chapters or those sections and stuff. And then like finals, yeah, it was just super easy. Like, I felt I literally never studied for a test. Going into college with that mentality, thinking I don't have to study for tests because the way the teachers teach me and the way I take notes is like good. Ooh. I don't I hope my sisters don't see this, but like, I'm not gonna lie, there had been tests where I didn't do good on. I think it took me like at least like 3 or 4 tries to understand like, okay, this mentality isn't working. This method isn't working in college. I had to change like my methods of studying. I didn't have to change. I had to learn methods of studying because I've never studied in high school. I didn't have to study in high school. It was just so crazy. Like, I genuinely just understood stuff in high school and it stayed in my brain. In college, because you have so much information, like you literally have to study for like 5 chapters and all the sections in the chapters, and then like all of that will be on one test. I wish I had studied in high school so I could know how to study in college. I mean, now I do know how to study. There's like certain methods or certain stuff that I use for different subjects, and it just depends. Tests are way easier in high school than it is in college. And last but definitely not least, this is the most important, I mean, no, it's not the most important one, but like this is a really important subject that I think not many people like to address. I'm being too dramatic. I'm being way too dramatic. Okay, it's not that big of a deal. But pretty much it's what I took for granted in high school that I definitely like messed up on in college is physical education. And I don't mean being educated on the physical anatomy. I mean doing exercise. Like you were forced to take PE in middle school, elementary school, high school. Like you were forced to do that stuff. And I mean, when you're doing it, you don't understand. You're like, who cares if I get fat? It's my choice. No. In college, you literally are too stressed to go on a run. You are too stressed to do exercise. You have no time to do that stuff. And like people gain weight. Oh my goodness. I definitely gained weight. I genuinely just don't feel healthy. Like I feel sluggish all the time, like with the extra weight that I gained. I feel depressed. I feel tired. It's not good. When you do exercise, literally, you're just happier. You just are. It's like science. That's don't fight me on this. And it's literally for your physical health. It is for your physical well-being. And we just always took that for granted. I mean, I definitely always took that for granted. I don't know about you guys. But, man, getting back in shape has been hard. It's been a work in progress. I think having a healthy diet also matters a lot. So stay active, stay healthy. Okay, so that's all I have for this video. I think it was like 8 things, maybe a little bit more, I don't know. Doesn't matter. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be posting more videos. Comment down below what you took for granted in high school. To any high schoolers going to college, I wish you good luck. It will be a really good experience. Everything about college is, oh, I forgot we're in quarantine. Hopefully you don't have to start your first year of college online. If you do, that'll suck. But, good luck. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up. If you like my channel, please subscribe. You don't have to, but you're welcome to. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.